All right, so we all know there's two types of content. There's the entertainment content, the stuff that just makes you laugh, makes you like it, and it gets a lot of engagement because, of course, it's entertaining. And then there's also the type of content that people do find valuable and they save because they want to take a look at it later because it helped them solve a micro problem that they may have and they're facing, and they're downloading your content or they're listening to your content because you. So at the end of the day, it really comes down to these two types of content. And one thing that people ask me the most is, what type of content do I need to be making in order to now grow a following on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok? And I always tell them, why are you trying to grow a following? Okay, is it just because you like the idea of likes and shares, or are you just trying to bandwagon what everybody's doing and just get a bunch of followers and likes? Or are you trying to get actual clients from it? And maybe you don't care about the likes or the comments. You just want clients from that. Well, there's two ways to go about it, as most of us know. Is one way you could just make organic content. And organic content works amazingly well, but if you can stick with it. Because most people can't stick with content. They can't stick with the idea of always filming, always making sure that you're getting content for yourself and for the business, right? Depending on what space you're in. But most people really don't even know what type of content to make. And that's typically where I get all these questions like, what type of content performs best? What type of content should I be doing, right? And it comes down to, what do you think would be valuable to the person on the other side of the screen? Okay, is it helpful content? Is it a mix of entertainment and content that will help them, or content that's relatable, or content that tells a story? Again, that's entertainment, right? Because they're being entertained with something. There's two forms, and there's two ways of going about content for your business. But for mine, it's specifically on making sure that you are just being authentic, vulnerable as well, because that's when you relate most to people that are listening to you speak. And the reason I do that is, it may not get the most engagement. It may not take off, right? Because I'm not doing something stupid or something funny, right? But what it does over time is now it starts to build a connection with the people that have been. And when you start to do that over time, people start to get hooked on the idea of you because they relate to you so much that now that they're listening to what you have to say. So if I were to start over with content and I wanted to build a solid audience that I can then later upsell to, I would first start with authentic content that is going to allow them to relate to me and allow me to now share some form of connection with the audience. So that's my way of going about content, right? It may not be the same for your business, but at the end of the day, what I could tell you is that if you just turn on the camera once a day and you talk to the camera, just like you talk to everyday people, just like you talk to your customers and clients, you help them out when you talk to them because they might be asking you something that they're confused about, and you answer it right there and then. So why wouldn't you do the same to a camera that is facing you? What makes it different, right? In fact, it's probably even easier to talk to a camera when you're in a room by yourself like this, because there's no one watching, or because you can mess up if you say something that, I don't know, came out silly, right? And it doesn't feel as authentic as you talking to a customer or someone that needs your help. That's just the pros and cons of it, right? From what I see, there's more pros to delivering or making content when you're by yourself with a camera, because it's recorded once and it lives forever, pretty much. Recorded once and it lives forever. So let's just say one question from a customer that you always get. Let's say you're in the food business, right? Do you guys have gluten-free options, right? That right there is probably something that you answer all the time if you're a restaurant or if you're in the food business. And it's probably something that you have to keep answering. But if you made a handful of content about that, then there's chances more people will find out that you are a gluten-free option place than not, because they've seen your content about that. And if you're talking in your content about that, that's one of the things you're talking about, right? I suggest people 3 pillars all the time. 3 pillars. What are your 3 pillars of content, right? If that's one pillar where you're talking about the types of foods you have and that you have gluten-free options, then by all means, if it's a question that is burning in the marketplace, why wouldn't you talk about it? Why wouldn't you answer people's questions about it? Because then they gravitate towards you when you begin to answering their questions. So if you're gonna take the route of you want to build an audience that later turns into clients, slowly but surely, at the end of the day, it's gonna come down to making content that you can relate to, making content that you can connect. Because even for a gym that wants to get clients through Instagram, and let's say they don't have money for ads, but they can get on camera and talk, and get on camera and add value to the community through content, then you're gonna have more people gravitating towards them if they keep it up over the span of a year. Because since they're being consistent with it, and let's say they're even doing reels for people outside of their audience and their following, then if you're pointing out problems to people like that they have, and it's what you do as a business, solving those exact problems, and you're calling out those problems in your content, and you're also giving solutions in that content, then you are going to get people to then raise their hand and give you more questions because you answered that one, and then they had another one, and now they have another one, and they don't run out of questions because we're all on that journey. So making content about what people want to know about, what people need help with, what people value. In my case, that is the educational kind of content, right? Which there's many ways of doing it, right? Connecting with that audience and making sure that you understand their problems and you're giving them the solutions that they act, not just things you think that they need, right? That's that kind of content that is going to give you the most return on your time, most return on your money investment if you invest it into a content team or whatever that may be. But at the end of the day, if you are able to answer those questions that people have in a way where they are receiving value through the content you make, and it's a different angle on how everybody else does it, then you're going to win as long as you stay consistent with it. But if you start to go the other route of entertainment content, most people love video content that makes them laugh. Most people love video content that is talking bad about someone, right? Like Twitter is just sometimes a jungle, right? If you start to make content about stuff that is entertaining, you're gonna get a higher volume of traffic coming to your profile, but that doesn't mean that higher volume of traffic is quality. So now you have to learn how to maneuver this traffic more than you normally would if you were just putting the value out there, if you were just calling out the problems and it's strictly educational content, right? Some people say, oh, mix the two, right? Entertainment and education. Well, at the end of the day, I know I heard Alex Hormozi talk about this, saying he tested both ways going about it. And he tested the education content, he tested the entertainment content, and he even tested a hybrid of both. And what ended up happening is the higher quality traffic came from and he wanted to do the education content. Alex Hormozi preferred the education content because he's talking about business and that's what he likes to talk about. So in your case, if you enjoy talking about the business side of things, or maybe it's just things that people need help with if you enjoy helping people with helping them solve the problems that they have or questions that they want answers. If you enjoy that and it fulfills you to help people, you could do it through content. Just all you have to do is get comfortable talking to the camera by yourself first. First, you get comfortable with the camera, you press record. You may not have something interesting to say in the first minute, if anything, and just let it keep rolling. Let it keep rolling. And you're gonna realize that while it's recording, your mind is gonna secretly be shouting like, no, you're wasting time being recorded, right? You're gonna realize that it's no big, a minute on recording time, and I had nothing to say because right? It kind of puts you under pressure a little bit when you click record and you have nothing to say, and it's almost like should I stop recording? You want to be so comfortable on camera that it almost feels like that is how you talk to every customer and they see it through the content. And then when they meet you in person, if they get to meet you, then they're gonna be like, this person is authentic. He's the same person as he is when he's filming his reels, when he's filming video content, YouTube content. He's the same person all across all platforms. And if people start to realize that, because let's say they met you at an event or something, or they met you in person, from your content to in person, then they are going to be like, okay, he's real, he's authentic, he's not faking a persona. And that is the best feeling ever. When people see you from your content and they realize that, oh, he's just a person, just that he's really good at making video content, right, about his business. I helped an HVAC company with filming a bunch of video content for them. And honestly, they were all kind of pretty nervous to even speak on camera. But as soon as I shifted the perspective of, well, I have a home and I don't know about HVAC, like, spit some game and like tell me what to do, right? What would you do in this case? And so when I started shifting it to like, no, well, actually, like, tell me what I need to do. Like, here's the question, answer that for me, because I do have that question as a homeowner. They would be like, okay, this is what I would check if that's failing. And so they started going on with this content while I was pointing the camera, the recording. If I tell you, all right, let's make content, boom, I start recording, I'm like, all right, and you just have no context, no guidance, or you don't even know what to talk about, it's gonna be a little tough. It is going. You know what? At the end of the day, as long as you keep practicing talking to the camera, I bet you that's gonna be the most valuable skill that you have, because all that matters is that you actually are who you are behind the camera. Same person in person and same person behind the camera. But if you are able to help them through video content like this, and you're able to help your target audience through content, then they are going to value you so much more in person, because they feel like they already got to know you through your video content. Let's say it's YouTube content, or let's say it's TikToks, or let's say it's Instagram, Facebook content, right? Reels. If you post enough and you get to that, let's just say 6-hour mark where they've just watched a ton of your reels because you've been consistent for the last 6 months, if that's the case, you are going to start nurturing your traffic so much, because they are seeing your video content. They are seeing what you do, what you help people with. They're getting used to you. And the more they get used to you virtually, just listening to your reels or just seeing you pop up with more and more and more video content, then that right there is going to build rapport so high to where now you're on a video call with them. Oh, they're opened up to you. They're warmed up to you. They're happy and joyful that you're on a call with them. Even if you haven't gone viral yet, doesn't matter. Most people think you got to go viral. Such a big misconception. It really is. Because sometimes the best kind of influencers are the micro influencers, the ones from 10K to 100K followers. Sometimes those are the better influencers, according to Neil Patel. The people who are at 1 million, 2 million, even 500 plus or 500K plus. Sometimes it's better to be more relatable and have your own tight hub audience where they connect with you at a deep level, and it's more of a quality over quantity type of thing. So if that's you, then I would most definitely make video content, because it's gonna be the #1 skill for the next 10 years, since people don't like seeing AI as far as content goes. They don't like being spoken to from an AI. They wanna see real people on camera. And that is going to be a profitable skill in 2026 and 2027 if you get really good at it, because it's right next to public speaking. Anyway, if you got any questions on how to get better at content, how to maneuver all the the pauses, I got you. Drop me a comment, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help you if that's something you need help with, or if you want it all done for you, I can also help with that as well. But until then, good luck with the video content, and just keep, all right? Show me some love, show you some back, all right? Let's go.